Welcome to Whispered Pages, where old tales find new life in gentle whispers. Tonight, we turn to the heart of Oscar Wilde, the poet who wrote of beauty, sorrow, and redemption. His story, The Selfish Giant, is not only a tale for children, but a quiet mirror held to the human soul. It begins with a garden, vast, green, and filled with laughter. Every afternoon the children from the village would sneak through a little gate in the wall and play among the trees. The grass was soft like a dream. The blossoms were gentle as clouds, and the birds sang so sweetly that even the wind paused to listen. But one day the giant returned. He had been away for 7 years, visiting his friend the Cornish ogre. When he saw the children playing in his garden, his great voice thundered across the valley. "What are you doing here?" The children ran, their laughter fading into the fields. "This is my garden," the giant said, "and only I shall play here." So he built a tall wall around it and nailed a sign that read, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." The garden fell silent. The birds flew away, and though spring came to every corner of the world, she never came to the giant's garden. There it was always winter. The snow spread her white cloak over the grass, and the frost painted the trees in silver sorrow. The giant sat alone in his cold chair, listening to the wind cry through the empty branches, and sometimes, when he heard children laughing far beyond his walls, he felt something stir, something warm and forgotten deep inside his great cold heart. Days turned to weeks, weeks into months. But in the giant's garden, it was always winter. He sat by his window watching the cold stars. "Why is it always winter here?" he murmured. "Why will spring not come to me?" The north wind replied with a sigh, "Because you have banished joy." The giant frowned and turned away, but deep inside something ached, quietly. One morning, after many silent years, the giant awoke to the sound of music, faint and sweet, like silver bells. "What is that?" he whispered. He looked out the window, and what he saw took his breath away. Through a small hole in the wall, the children had crept back into his garden. On every tree where a child sat, blossoms bloomed. The birds sang again. The snow had melted, and golden sunlight danced on the grass. But in one corner, the winter still lingered. A tiny boy stood there, too small to climb the tree beside him. The giant felt his heart tremble. Slowly, he walked into the garden. The children saw him and fled, all but the little boy. The giant's eyes softened. "Why can't you climb, little one?" he asked gently. The boy smiled. "Because I am too small." The giant bent down, lifted the boy, and placed him in the tree. At once, the branches blossomed, and birds began to sing above them. The boy leaned forward and kissed the giant on the cheek. The giant's eyes filled with tears. "Who are you?" he whispered. But the child only smiled. When the others saw the giant's kindness, they ran back, laughing, singing, and spring flooded the garden like a sunrise. From that day on, the giant played with the children every afternoon. The wall was torn down. The laughter returned. And though he grew old and gray, his heart was young and warm. Years later, when the giant's time came to rest, the children found him beneath a tree, covered with white blossoms, his face peaceful, and in the distance, the little boy's voice whispered like the wind, "You let love in, and so spring will live in you forever."